What's going on my fantasy football fans out there? It's Waiver Wire Queen. Today I want to give you some players that you should start and some players that you should sit going into week 3. Remember, these are recommendations that may help you kind of make a decision on which route you should go. Ultimately, it is your choice. However, this may help you out. Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback for the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have a really nice matchup against the New York Jets this week. And I would say start Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, Cortland Sutton is a must-play. Noah Fant's a must-play. And then Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. If you have either or, they're solid, at least flex plays this week. Teddy Bridgewater has been solid to start the season. He's averaging over 250, 260 passing yards per game. Cortland Sutton is back. Judy is out. So last week, Cortland Sutton went off. He looks great. And then Tim Patrick, he scored a touchdown. So your Broncos players, I'm looking to start them. Take advantage of anytime the Jets are playing right now. You take advantage of the matchup. Okay, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons and Giants game. Okay, so y'all are going to say, come on now, we're not starting any Giants players. Sterling Shepard is a must start. He's at least worthy of a flex start. He's played extremely well to start the season. Daniel Jones relies heavily on Sterling Shepard. That is his favorite target. I'm starting Sterling Shepard in 2 of my leagues. And then I'm going to take a chance and start Daniel Jones this week. He had a really good game against Washington football team. And what we know is Atlanta, their defense is nothing compared to Washington football team. So I'm going to take a chance and start Daniel Jones. Do you? Hey, should you? You got to think. If you have Carson Wentz and you don't have a better option coming off your bench, maybe Daniel Jones is a good play for you this week, because who knows if Carson Wentz is going to play. And Daniel Jones has outperformed Carson Wentz, in my opinion, to start the season. You don't know what's going to happen in Chicago. I wouldn't take a chance and start Justin Fields in fantasy. Unless you're just in a dynasty league and you're in rebuild mode, then I get it. But I'm staying away from Chicago quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is a much better play than Andy Dalton, if Andy Dalton is on that football field. Big Ben is playing terrible. So you got to kind of weigh options and see who's playing bad and take advantage. The goal is to win. I don't care who the hell you have in your starting lineup. If someone's not playing well and you're looking like this matchup is not a favorable matchup, but I got somebody else who may not be great, but this week's a favorable matchup, you may want to go with that person. All right, and then that brings me to Saquon Barkley. Okay, hasn't played well to start the season. Is this that game? This can potentially be that game. I'm starting him in my league. I have him in 1 league. I'm starting him with confidence. I feel like this is going to be the game for Saquon. All right. And then I anticipate the Giants getting Galladay more involved. He was on the sidelines mad as hell, so I expect them to kind of get him involved. Calvin Ridley, I'm starting him with confidence. The Giants allowed Washington football team to throw the ball up and down the field. McLaurin got off, had a great game. Calvin Ridley, to me, is better than him, so I expect Calvin Ridley to have one of his best games of the season. And Matt Ryan, he's been kind of iffy to start the season. I think this is going to be a really good game for him. So if you have Matt Ryan, you can start him. Obviously, Taylor Heineke, he was able to move the ball up and down the field against the Giants defense. So I expect Matt Ryan to be able to do the same, unless the Giants just come out and just revamp and switch the whole defense up, which I don't expect them to do that tremendously. So Matt Ryan is a nice play this week as well. All right, let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals, who's playing the Jaguars. The Arizona Cardinals, they're always a must start. They have been lighting it up to start the season. Obviously, I don't have to tell you to start Kyler Murray. I don't care who Kyler Murray is playing. I'm starting him. I am starting him. Hopkins, these are your top dogs. You always start them. But I'm just letting you know that this is a great matchup. So far to start the season, they've had some really good matchups, okay? So what do? You obviously start your top dogs. Houston has given up. They gave up 37 points. I'm sorry, the Jaguars gave up 37 points to a Watson-less Texans. All right, that should tell you right there. Okay, and you got to think the Cardinals, they put up 38 against the Titans, 34 against the Vikings. They are lighting it up, and they are going to do more of that this week. So you got Hopkins. You play Murray. Rondell Moore is in the mix, and Christian Kirk is in the mix. And those two you can look at as flex plays if you don't have your starting guys, or you just have nothing else. You can start those two, but the main two guys you start. And honestly, when it comes to the Cardinals running backs, I think they're trying to get Connor involved a lot. I'm not feeling Connor. I always say that the running back to have in that backfield is Chase Edmonds, and I still say that. He's really solid for PPR. Kind of haven't really performed up to what I was thinking he would, but I do anticipate that at some point this season for him to pick it up and get more involved. So yes, the main two, you start those guys. All right, so look who's playing the Texans. The Panthers. I am starting, obviously, CMC is a must-start every week. I don't care who he's playing. You start him because you drafted him probably with the number 1 or the number 2 pick, so you start him with confidence. DJ Moore is a great play, and Anderson. Texans gave up 31 points to the Browns, who did not have OBJ or Landry. Okay, they made Baker Mayfield look awesome out there on the field. So they're just really not that great, and I'm starting those guys. And even Sam Darnold, if you have one of those quarterbacks who may not be played, like even you got to think with the Texans, Tyrod Taylor may not be playing this week. So Sam Darnold, you got to think, if you have Tyrod Taylor as your starter, which some people I've seen have him as their starter, or even if he's your backup, you obviously may want to secure another backup, because I don't think he's playing this week. It's a short week. So great options to look at, okay? And that Panthers defense is played very well to start the season, okay? Another player I'm starting with confidence is Derek Carr. He's playing against the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they haven't been that great on defense. Carr has looked great, over 800 passing yards so far to start the season on combined for the first 2 games. And he did that versus 2 great defenses, the Ravens and the Steelers. I don't care who didn't play and who played. He played well, and he's playing with confidence, and he's going to get his favorite guy, Waller involved. So obviously you start him every week. Didn't have one of his best games. Who cares? You start them with every week. Now, some players that you need to sit all the way at the end of your bench, they shouldn't be starting. Taylor Heineke versus the Bears. He's playing against the Bears this week. The Bears made Joe Burrow, which he was back in college. Okay? Joe Burrow threw 3 straight interceptions to the Bears. I'm like, what's going on out here, Joe? You can't see? You need to put the glasses on? Because I don't see what you see. Clearly, you see Cincinnati, but you really was throwing it to the Bears. But nonetheless, not a good idea. If you were considering him trying to be cute or whatever, don't do it. It's not a good idea, and you're only setting yourself up for failure. But you didn't have Heineke as your starter anyways. Now, okay, he's not even good in daily, so. Just if you were considering it based on what he did last week, let's be realistic here. Come back down to earth. Don't do it. Another player, I'm sitting my Bills running back against Washington football team. So they haven't looked that great to start the season. I'm not a big believer in the Bills running backs, even though Singletary was solid last week versus Miami. I'm not doing it. I feel like Washington football team dodged the bullet with the Giants. They won that game. Defense wasn't playing that great first 2 games of the season, but I think they're going to pick it up with that momentum of beating the Giants. So I will not do it. I don't recommend it. Don't do it. Okay. Who else I'm sitting? Okay, so I am sitting my Jets players who I wasn't starting anyways. And let me tell you the ones I'm sitting. I am sitting Zach Wilson. He threw 4 interceptions to the Patriots. I mean, like, Zach, can you see? Ooh, because I can't see what you see. Okay, so get it together. I understand he's a rookie. Some of those were just unnecessary plays. Kind of got to look at what Mack Jones is doing. But nonetheless, they're playing a really good Denver Broncos defense that has played extremely well to start the season, and they have talent on that side of the ball. Don't start Zach Wilson. I don't even care if he's in you're in rebuild mode in a dynasty league. You don't do it. Don't start him. And those Jets running backs, Michael Carter is starting to see the ball more, and he's starting to look good. I just don't think this is a good week for him. Okay, now what we do know is Carter and Johnson seem to be the two that they're going with more and more. Coleman is starting to fall back, but for this week, every one of those Jets can fall back. Okay, all right. And you asked about Corey Davis. I don't have any stock, or I don't have any of Corey Davis in my leagues. So if you want to start him, go ahead. I don't think this is a good matchup for him this week, but I still feel like he should be involved more this week than last week. Sterling Shepard was still able to get off versus the Broncos. He was still able to have a solid game. Don't look at him as a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 if that's what you drafted him as, because I wouldn't have. But if you did, knock yourself out. Maybe have just lower your expectations if you do start Davis. And if he's one of your top guys, you start him, because you always want to start your top guys. But lower the expectations, because I don't think he's going to have this great game like game 1. And as you can see, he didn't have such a great game in game 2, or the second game of the season. Okay, I am sitting Mack Jones. He's playing against the Saints. He's not really fantasy worthy. He's more of a game manager now. I guess as he gets more comfortable in the season, maybe we'll see them open up the playbook a little more. I don't know. Right now, I'm not starting him in any of my redraft or any of my dynasty leagues. I'm just not going to start him because he's not worthy of starting in fantasy. NFL purposes, yes, he's doing a good job. Fantasy purposes, hell to no. All the way at the end of my bench, all right? And that's all I got to say about that, okay? He's not even averaging 10 fantasy points per game, or barely hitting that. So, no, don't do it. Joe Mixon had a really good game against the Vikings and came back up. The Bears defense came to play Sunday, and they showed up and showed out. He didn't have such a great game. He's going to get back on track week 3 versus the Steelers, but he's not somebody I'm checking for if you do start him, because you probably will, because he is one of your top dogs. Obviously, you want to lower your expectations, because I think his statistics will be more on the lines with what he did week 2 versus the Bears. However, you're going to start him, but like I said, lower those expectations. It's not going to be a performance like week 1 is what I'm trying to say. And then I am staying away from those Bears QBs. I'm staying away from Justin Fields. I'm staying away from Andy Dalton. I'm not playing those guys. I am not. The Browns defense is solid, and they're not playing that well anyways. Okay, so don't do it. All right, y'all hit that like button and subscribe to Waiver Wire Queen for more on fantasy football, because I'm gonna get you right throughout this season. Peace.